Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Now, here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
And welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again, whether you're tuning in on the radio dial in Mississippi at WYAD 94.1 FM. We welcome you all back to our show, as well as tuning in through our online affiliates around the world. We're glad to have all of you with us as well. Our next guest is someone that I'm really excited to speak with. It's so funny. I found out about recording artist John.k because I follow Gary V on social media, and Gary was talking to a fellow talk show host that he was fond of, that was a friend of his. I went on that talk show host page to see some of the guests he has had, and one of the guests that he'd had on the program recently was a recording artist named John K. I then went over to John K's page, found him on Twitter, found out he had a new single called OT, went then to Amazon, bought the single for myself. I love the single, and then was glad to reach out to him, and now he's joining us here on our program today. We're going to talk to John not only about the amazing ride he's had with this new single, but also this year, what it's been like for him to do what he loves and to see the response. If you're just hearing about his new single, we'll tell you at the end of our segment how you can be able to get it for yourself. But John, hello to you and welcome to the program.
Hey man, how you doing?
Hey, doing really good. So, I'm actually doing an article for Medium.com about how Gary V led me to John K. And it's really, I think, a funny thing. I mean, you have had such an amazing year, John, and this single is already doing well. We're going to be hearing that a little bit later. What has this experience been like for you to not only to think about all that you had set out to do this year and all the great things that have come your way in 2017?
Man, it's been incredible just from the beginning. I met a buddy of mine, and we sat down, and he was just telling me about, he was giving me a compliment, just saying, man, I really love your vibe and your style. Let's get in the room. Let's start writing. And 2 years ago, we started to tackle the John K project. And it was one part totally rebranding what I had done way long before that, and another part of just kind of diving into something new. And it was such a cool experience to just do something that was fresh, that was unconnected to anything that I had done before, and to really dive in and commit to a sound and commit to an idea. So the year has just been, this year's been incredible. OT has been opening doors and moving so much faster than I ever could have imagined. And it's just been kind of a whirlwind, mixture of performances and just staying creative and working harder than I've ever worked in my entire life.
Yeah. That appreciation is something that definitely comes through for you, John. One of the posts you made recently on social media, on Twitter, was about the reflection, and you were celebrating a very big milestone, and that being 1 million listeners on Spotify. But you said in the post, I remember when I had 10 monthly Spotify listeners. Today we just hit 1 million. Locking myself in the studio all month to give you the next chapter. Stay tuned. Do you still have those pinch me moments as you kind of look at the numbers rise and the way that's coming from the work that you're doing? Yeah,
it's inspiring, and it just makes me want to create. It really puts me, you stay a little balance of reflective and where you started, and that will drive, for me at least, it just drives me towards wanting to get busier and wanting to dive in and give more. I feel like we're just tapping into the well and just starting to really find out what the true sound is. And the stuff that we've been writing just from the success of OT is just getting better and better. So I can't wait to share it and pick up some more listeners along the way and some more people that connect to what I'm connecting to.
So let's talk about your own connection to music, John. When did you first realize that music was that voice that you had that you wanted to be able to share with others?
Music's always been my way to cope with what I'm feeling. Music's always been, if I'm, having kind of a rough day and I can't really put my finger on why, I would just go lock myself, in my little home studio and just fire up the keyboard and play and sing. And that was my way to purge and kind of work through, and I'd come out of it an hour later just feeling so much better. And, it was just my way to connect with what I was going through. And it's really cool to see other people connecting the way that I connect as well, So that's how it all started for me, is just, I used to sing because I love to sing. And I would sing covers, I would write originals, I would do anything I could just put my voice out there because it was a healing mechanism for me. It was something where I could just tune out the rest of the world and just say, all right, this is it was like my yoga or my, whatever that is for certain people to kind of decompress and get it all out. That's what music was always for me for the last 10 years. So I guess I finally just figured out how to organize it and record it in a way that makes sense.
Right. Right. And I think, too, it's all about a process. But I think the great thing that people can take away from your journey, John, and really your success is the importance of the consistency of it. On November the 7th on Twitter, and I promise you I'm not stalking you, but there was a few posts on there that you made that I thought was really interesting that I think went well beyond music, which is why I wanted to share them. On November the 7th, you posted this. I never imagined releasing one song could lead to so many incredible opportunities. Thank you guys for continuing this journey with me. The best is yet to come, and that best is yet to come. I think not being, being complacent because you're doing well. Is that also, one of the things you mentioned already in the conversation that seeing the numbers rise makes you want to create. But I mean, what was it like for you to realize that the reason why you're having this success is because you didn't give up?
Yeah, it also speaks to the people that I have in my life. There's been times when I've thought, man, I need to get a job, man. I need to, do something that, I can provide for, I can be comfortable. And there's been a couple times when I've started to get anxious about life and think that I needed to move on or give this dream up. And that's when the people in my life have grabbed me and say, no, you have a gift. Like, this is what you need to do. So you need to stick it out. I'll help you along the way, and that's how my amazing manager came into my life. That's how the love of my life came into my life. And there's just been people that have always turned me back towards music. When I get the most anxious about, all right, well, how are we going to do this? Like, this is an insane industry. Like, are we really trying to make this work? Is it going to work? And so you need people in your life. I think that's why all musicians need managers, because they can stay and operate the logistics while I can stay and create and be the brain, while it's hard to live in both worlds. So I can't take the credit for sticking it out. It's all the people, the team, the producers that I've worked with that have made me believe in this project more than I would have on my own.
Yeah. We've talked a whole lot on this program this year, John, about facing fear and not allowing fear to stop us. What has that been like for you to experience in your own creative journey of not allowing fear to stop you and doing what you love when it comes to sharing your own unique musical voice with the world?
I think fear can be the killer of creativity. I think that if you get too far into thinking about the fear of not making it, you're not going to put yourself out there, because you're going to be fearful, they're not going to like it. It's not good enough. It's not finished. B, fear always is something, and it stops forward movement, stops forward progress. And you have to let that go. You have to be confident, not just in your ability, but you have to be confident that, you're doing the right thing. So overcoming fear, again, for me, is the way that I deal with fear is I go in and lock myself in the room and I sing. So music is therapy for me. And, it is the one thing in my life that kills fear. And so I have to overwhelm any of my fear with creativity and music and movement. And so I have to stay busy creating music because I committed to it, and it's what I love to do. And the more that I'm creating, the less fearful I am, because there's movement. And as soon as you stop to get fearful again, and as soon as you stop forward progress, it all works. It's very cyclical. And so in my team, in our process is just, there's no time to fear because we have another great song to write.
Yeah. For sure. And we're going to talk more about those great songs here in a bit, John. I want to say, for those who are just tuning in, either on the radio side or online, you're listening to Conversations Live. We're excited to welcome recording artist John K to our program today. We're talking with him not only about the musical journey, but the great year he's been able to have this year and what it's been like for him to share that with all of you. Before we get into the single OT, I want to talk to you about another thing that you mentioned again on social media that you also retweeted as well, John, from some of your fans. And this is an interesting thing, I think, an interesting connection. Now, I have to be quite honest with you and say I have never, ever been to a concert in my life. I'm 42 years young, and I've just never done it. It's just the whole thing about a lot of people. But I love music. I just haven't never been to a concert. But I thought it was interesting. I want to talk to you about this, that there were people who you retweeted, fans that were like, oh, wow, I love that song. And then the next thing they say was, I have to catch one of your shows. And I bring that up because you talked about in one post about being up on stage and seeing people sing your lyrics. I mean, what is that experience like for you to have that interchange of energy with them as you're singing, they're singing along with you?
Yeah, I mean, that's the rush. That is the celebration of the creation. I mean, that's really what a live show is you're in a room, with people that may or may not know it, but especially connecting with the people that do know it, is you're celebrating this mutual connection that you've both had through that song. And it's a really, really, really cool thing. Unlike anything else that I've experienced, it's just you're actually in that moment, in that song, very physically connected with somebody else that you don't even know. And so it's like this slight nod to, I know what you've been through, or I know how you feel, or I know how you're feeling in this moment right now. And it's a very euphoric experience, and it drives the performance, and, it makes you just, like when you're doing a live show, you have to tune out the world no matter how you feel, no matter what's going on, you have to tune out the world, and you have to perform just as if, I'm in my little studio in the back just performing to tune out the world. And so, right. You don't have time to get nervous because you have to connect with people that are there for you. It's a really, really cool thing. You should go to a live show sometime this year or 2018. Bucket list it.
Yeah. You know what? It is a goal to set for sure, and I definitely need to do it. I tell people I normally kind of enjoy it vicariously thanks to YouTube or through a streaming service. So I've never, the energy in the room I definitely have not been a part of. But that leads us right into OT. So talk to us about this song. I mean, it's a great story. For those who are joining us live here in Mississippi, John is also our Artist of the Week. So if the name sounds familiar, you all heard his song this morning in our morning news segment. You guys will be hearing it all this week. But how did the single OT come about, John?
Well, first of all, I appreciate you making me Artist of the Week. That's a huge honor. Thank you very much. OT was the first song that I've written that I just tried not to overthink. It's about a feeling. It's about that kind of fun, excited feeling when you first meet somebody that you're interested in. And the melodies are simple. The movement isn't overdone. I have a tendency to overthink and oversing things and try to prove to the world that I'm a good singer. But here we just felt like the movement kind of took itself where it was going to go, and I just tried not to mess it up. There was a vibe in it. There was a certain feeling, and when we were writing the lyrics, and we actually set up a microphone in the writing room. Normally, it's in a booth where you go out room into a booth and you're like isolated in this soundless booth with a microphone in it to capture all the voice. We threw that out. We just sat in the room together and we did an active writing session, and every line that we would write, I would just sit down and sing it to see, let's see how this one sounds, let's see how it fits. And so we'd lay that one down, and then we'd go to the next line, and normally at the end of that would be called a demo, and then we would go back in and re-record all the vocals. But it felt really, really good. There was a very relaxed, nonchalant, almost whispery kind of tinge in the vocal. And collectively as a group, we were all just kind of like, is this done? I mean, should we just... this idea feels good. It feels done. And so we just mastered it with those original initial demo vocals because it just felt so good. And it was such a cool process because it was a very active writing and recording session that normally doesn't come together that way. And within 4 hours, we had the whole song written and recorded. So it was really, really an experience. Yeah, they don't all work that way. I've worked on songs for 8 months.
Right. Well, for those who have not had a chance to hear it, here is OT by recording artist John.k. We're going to let you guys know how you all can stay connected with John right after this. So stay with us.
Make my way across the room, right over to you, trying to find the words to say. All I wanna know is, are you here alone, and how long are you in LA? You say only for tonight, gotta catch a flight, maybe time for one more drink. So baby, sip it slow, before you go, there's something that I wanna say. I'll put in overtime and stay all night just to leave with you. You hear it all the time from all those guys who wanna be with you. I'd leave them all behind and tell no lies. Baby, you're the truth. I'll put in overtime and stay all night just to leave with you. Stumble at the bar, trying to call a car. I think I know just the place. Dancing on the rooftop, then we hit the boardwalk. Tell me you don't wanna stay. You say only for tonight, gotta catch a flight, maybe time for one more drink. So baby, sip it slow, before you go, there's something that I gotta say. I'll put in overtime and stay all night just to leave with you. You hear it all the time from all those guys who wanna be with you. I'd leave them all behind and tell no lies. Baby, you're the truth. I'll put in overtime and stay all night just to leave with you. Even angels gotta fly away. Maybe you'll be back someday. Hey, I know it's cliche, but for now I'ma need you to stay. Hey,
That again was OT by recording artist John.k. We've been talking with John today not only about the amazing ride he's been on this year, but also what it's been like for him to share that with all of you. That single is available through our partners at Amazon.com or through your favorite online retailer. So, John, I know you're enjoying where you are, but there are a lot of great things to come. How can our audience stay connected with you and kind of keep up with what's next?
Everything on social media is at Music by John K. All together, all one word, lowercase, whatever, at Music by John K. On Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Music by John K. That's the way to stay connected, reach out, be social. That's what social media is for. It's fun. It's an opportunity for us to connect and talk about what we're doing. And I try to be as transparent as possible on there and really stay in touch with everybody. So at Music by John K.
Okay, so make sure you all are definitely staying connected with him. John, congratulations to you again, and thank you so much for the time. Really appreciate it, and looking forward to speaking with you again next year.
All right, Cyrus, thanks so much. And by the way, if you decide, you want to switch it up and go to a concert, I'm pretty sure we can make that happen. Next show that I have that makes sense for you, we're going to give you backstage passes and we're going to break that I don't like to go to shows stigma that you have, and we're going to make it very comfortable, and you're gonna love it.
All right, man. Well, look, I appreciate that, and who knows? I mean, I'm gonna have to look. We talked about fear, right? So I'm gonna have to face my own and definitely make that happen. So thank you so much for the invite. I appreciate that.
No, you're welcome. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, glad to do it, man. And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live. And if you all came in late, you missed part of the conversation with John, don't worry. Thanks to our online friends, you all can catch the replay right after we go off the air. The link is already available through our social media site. So head over to Facebook.com/Cyrus Webb or go over to Twitter.com/Cyrus Webb. I've already tagged John there, so you all can be able to click on the link there, listen to the show completely for free through the podcast, and also share it with your friends from there, too. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying, as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Make sure you take out time to enjoy some good music as well as a great book. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live today. You all make it a great one.